Hi everyone, this is K.Short and welcome to Short Talk Sunday. Today I'm going to be talking about my mom. Plain and simple. So growing up, my mom and I didn't really have the best relationship because I was spoiled, I was hard-headed, and I had a bad temper. And if it doesn't seem like it, that's because I somehow grew out of it, or if it does seem like it, let's just say I was a lot worse when I was younger, and my mom and a lot of people had to put up with that. I know when I was growing up, we just didn't have the best relationship. She was 2 generations older than me, and the baby boomer generation, and she is this immigrant woman from the Philippines who didn't know any English. So it was just this huge miscommunication 90% of the time. We were always fighting, we were always bickering over who knows what. I probably didn't get ice cream that day. It didn't get better until I got to college, and honestly, if it weren't for college and being able to spend that time apart and realizing that this important person in my life was gone for 90% of the time. So I'm really grateful for that experience. But as I get older, I do definitely appreciate her every single day. I mean, there are times where it's just mom. Like, she does things that nobody else does. She understands things that nobody else does, and she has this humor that I think is really hilarious, and the things that come in her mouth I just can't believe sometimes. A lot of times I think about when I would get in trouble when I was young, that she would instead take me shopping instead of disciplining me. I remember one time specifically, I think for a whole week of school, I got a pink slip every single day for doing what? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit of a troublemaker and sarcastic and all that stuff. But I was getting pink slips for really, really silly things. Probably taking someone's pencil for all I know. But she, instead of spanking me, she would just take me shopping, or she'd take me go get something to eat. And, she would teach me how to drive a car at a very young age. I was driving in the 4th grade, like, with one leg on the driver's side and one leg on the passenger side, just driving. And at the end of the day, she just accepted me for who I am. That's a huge thing, especially when someone lives this life, who identifies as queer. So many people take their lives, and so many people get disowned. And I just couldn't be more grateful that my mom just accepted me for who I was. I know a lot of times I got discouraged because my mom never really attended any of my basketball games or any of my sports games or anything that I was involved with. And I finally realized it was because, for one, she's from a different country, and for 2, she's too busy hustling and being an entrepreneur. I just realized that in the Philippines, the teachers are supposed to be taking care of the kids during that time. And so to not be discouraged that my mom wasn't always there the way I wanted her to be there, while all of my friends were living like this American idealism that moms are always going to be there, and they're going to be at your soccer games, and they're going to take you and all your friends in the mom van, and you're going to go get pizza afterwards. Like, I really wanted that. And my mom couldn't provide that for me because that wasn't her idea of what a mom was. A mom was putting food on the table and putting clothes on your back and tucking you in at night, making sure you're in a warm bed. I think the biggest thing that made me realize how lucky I am to even have somebody that took the time to raise me was the story that she continues to tell me is she was going to abort me initially. And she said that she was so strategic about her menstrual cycle that she knows that she was never going to get pregnant again. And so somehow she did, and she was going to go to the abortion clinic and abort me. But they told her that she was too far in, that she couldn't do it. So she always says that there must be a reason why I'm here. I just really appreciate her for putting up with me for 24 years and not aborting me. And I think a lot of times when we don't have the best relationships with our mom, or best relationship with, female figures and role models, a lot of times we don't recognize that they really could have done that. They could have done the plan B. They could have done, they could have just not done it. They didn't have to do that. This year, instead of giving my mom flowers or a card or whatever, I decided to get this book. It asks questions about my mom's story. And for me, that's just super important. It asks questions about her childhood, and asks questions about who she looked up to when she was younger. And I just think it's one of those things that's priceless. And not only that, I have one for Lola too. Lola means grandma. So I think this year, instead of just doing the typical, hey mom, here's get breakfast and all that stuff, asking her questions about her story. Asking her what she used to do when she was our age. Asking her, those favorite moments that she had in her life. I also want to give a shout out to my older brothers and sisters. And that's out to Jane, out to Gail, Kia Stevie, Kia Mark, Kia Timmy, Kia Charlie, and Jeanette, because they were wiping my butt when my mom didn't want to wipe my butt. And I just really appreciate that, because they were working at McDonald's and going to school and coming home to wipe my butt and take care of me and babysit me, and I really appreciate that. And I also want to give a shout out to my second mom, Miss Becky, who was also my next door neighbor, who was like the babysitter but was more like the mom, because she was doing the mom things that I thought moms were supposed to do. And initially she was the one that was disciplining me. I was more scared of Miss Becky than I was of my mom. So anytime I was in trouble, my mom would say, I'm going to go get Miss Becky. Because Miss Becky was more than willing to spank my brown butt. And I remember it very specifically. So I know to never get on her bad side. So Miss Becky, I really appreciate you for everything that you did for me, and for teaching me how to be a decent citizen at a young age and not have my hair in my spaghetti and eating like a savage. And just allowing me to be a part of your family and teaching me the things that you did teach me, and just allowing me to play and enjoy my childhood. Once again, Mother's Day isn't just about a day in May. Mother's Day should be every single day, if at least 3 times a week, and the same for Father's Day, and the same for every other day. It shouldn't just be one time a year that we remember that how important these people are in our lives. I challenge you to ask mom and motherly figures in our lives about their story, and just ask them how they grew up, and just tell them thank you a little bit more every once in a while, as opposed to just once a year. So this is K.Short, this is Short Talk Sunday, and tell your mom you love them.